hell about undereating and gaining weight? So this situation happens with a lot of people that are just starting their weight loss endeavor or your weight loss journey. You're determined to lose some weight, so you're going to eat less calories. You know, it makes sense. Less calories you eat, the more weight you should lose. So you eat a little bit less calories, you lose some weight, and you're going to go to the extreme end. You're going to even eat less calories than that. You're going to take it to the ends of eating 1,000 calories, 1,200 calories or less just to see if you can't lose weight faster. Now you get in a situation, you start losing weight, but then all of a sudden things stall, and then the scale goes up. How does that happen? How is it you get in a situation, you're under eating, and the next thing you know, the scale is going up? So let me tell you why this is, and really just kind of the truth behind it. So first off, now when the scale goes up, we have to ask ourselves, well, what actually is going up? Is it in one of those rare cases muscle? Or is it a lot of water weight? Are all of a sudden you holding a lot of water? I'm here to tell you 9 times out of 10, that's the more common one. Especially if you're noticing daily scale fluctuations, 9 times out of 10, that is water weight. Okay, so that's number one. Now, what about this person? I will have to say this right up front before I give this example. It is pretty much impossible. It is impossible to gain fat while you are under eating or while you're in a caloric deficit for your body. Again, it is impossible to do that. So then why is it when people do that, the scale goes up? They feel like they're eating more. They feel like they're getting fatter. Let me tell you exactly why this happens. So right off the bat, like we just said, it is impossible, and it's pretty much borderline scientific fact it's not going to happen. You may see some water weight fluctuations, but you can't gain fat. But what if you're that freaky person that at the end of the month, you gain 10 pounds of fat, and you're eating less than 1,200 calories a day? Let me explain to you what happens. So right off the bat, this is the part that a lot of people that are doing that don't like to hear. You're probably eating a lot more than you think. That's the most common answer that I can tell you. Right now, you're probably sneaking in calories and not even realizing it. You're probably forgetting about the calories you're eating from the condiments, the sauces, from the condiments, sauces, pieces of candy, little ham bites here and there. That adds up a lot, especially for someone that has a really crappy, slow metabolism. Let's say you're one of those people that, I'm so sorry, this sucks if you're you, that you have a very slow metabolism. Your basal metabolic rate is around 900 plus calories. You know, you're eating that, it doesn't take much for you to gain weight. Okay, so if you're in that individual, you got to be a lot more careful how you do that. Number two, this is where I see it happen the most often. What this one is you don't realize that you're probably tracking calories on a day, and then the weekend happens. And the weekend happens, and next thing you know, you didn't eat as well as you wanted to. Your 1,200 calories or 1,500 calories all of a sudden turn into 5,000. Guys, it's very easy and a lot easier than you want to believe to go out on the weekend and to down 3,500 to 5,000 calories in a sitting. It's incredibly possible. And in fact, there are a lot of restaurants out there that their appetizers alone are packing in nearly $1,000 in calories. Not to mention the meal, if you have a drink or two, and then maybe you decide to share a dessert with your friend. You know, guys, you're going to add in a ton of calories that way. In fact, I actually did this. I went to a very popular restaurant not too long ago, and I got something that I would consider somewhat healthy. You know, good protein, healthy carbs, and lots of veggies. I actually went through to the restaurant's website information just to find out, and lo and behold, 8 ounces of steak, and it was a sirloin, all right, right off the bat, vegetables, and a sweet potato. Lo and behold, we packed in 2,700 calories. Not exaggerating. That is per the website. Pretty much right there, that's an entire day's worth of eating for most people. And that's just one meal that you think is healthy. So that is the most common one that does happen because, again, guys, it is borderline scientific fact that if you are in a strict caloric deficit, you can't gain fat. You just can't. So if you're in that rare, freaky individual that a month later you put on 5 pounds, 8 pounds, 10 pounds of fat, 9 times out of 10, extra calories are happening, and you're just not realizing it. And that's the truth. And that's the part that sucks. And a lot of people don't like to hear that. And I get it. Life's not fair, guys. I understand on that one. But here's what I really tell people. One, right off the bat, stop under eating. Stop putting yourself in a situation, next thing you know, you're constantly deprived. You're living a life of deprivation. You know, you're counting how many blueberries you're putting on your oatmeal kind of thing. You're counting how many spears of asparagus you're having with your tilapia. Yuck. All right, don't live a life like that. That's not fun. That actually trains you to constantly be in a deprived state, constantly trains you to feel like you're always starving. And the next thing you know, you're going to have a breaking point where the weekend happens to where that one little cheat meal turned into a cheat day, turned into a cheat weekend. The next thing you know, you are 10 pounds heavier without even trying. So guys, To sum everything up, before I went on that massive rant right down to there, I can say this right now. Again, one more time, is borderline scientific fact that it is about impossible to gain fat while you're in a caloric deficit for you. A lot of times if you see a daily scale fluctuation, it is water weight or hormonal variations. That is the most common thing, so don't weigh yourself daily. But at the end of the month, if you put yourself on this 1,200 calorie, 1,000 calorie a day diet, and all of a sudden you are 10 pounds heavier, it is not because if you have a crappy metabolism, I'm sorry guys, but it is because you were sneaking in 35,000 calories worth of food that month and not realizing it. And I know that sucks. That's part of it. If you find that you're in that situation, what can you do? Track your food. I know you don't want to. I know a lot of people say tracking my food sucks. I don't want to do this. But hey, guys, I'm going to tell you this way. I don't like looking at my bank account sometimes, but I do that so I don't go broke. And some of you know exactly what I mean by that. So take about 5 minutes each day, track your food, do it for a couple of weeks, and I promise you'll find your answer pretty quickly. So guys, if you have comments or questions, hey, put them in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to help out, help clarify, answer anything on your mind. But in the meantime, everyone, take care, enjoy this weather, have amazing workouts, even better meals, stop that cheating, and I look forward to chatting with all of you tomorrow.